Okay. Number 13 for me is OSC-DIS by the Mad Capsule Markets. Now, this was released in 2001. They are a Japanese hardcore punk band. I think I only came across the Mad Capsule Markets from watching like music videos when I came home from school, and I think this is probably on like Kerrang or something like that.
Probably
P-Rock
before Kerrang, T-Rock, Scuzz. Well, Scuzz,
maybe
P-Rock became Scuzz,
didn't
didn't it? Yeah.
So one of those music channels, and I love this album, but it's actually, I always thought this was kind of like this mad standalone album by this band, but it's like their 13th album.
Really?
They've had this career since like the mid-80s, and I've just never bothered to like go in on their other albums. Like, sorry, I'm talking shit. It's their 8th album.
Still though.
So it's still. I mean, I just thought it was this kind of one-off, like mental album by these Japanese punks. But I suppose it shows that this is an album later in their career that they've kind of pulled everything from their previous years together and created something quite special. And it is a hardcore album in terms of the sort of intensity in the guitars and the vocal delivery, but it's a lot more than that. It throws in like elements of techno and like heavy dance music. I mean, techno in terms of like the just frenetic like drums, those crazy like techno drum beats, and there's some mad like heavy bass drops, and just it's a very well done fusion of those different kinds of music. And when you've got those kind of breakbeat drums with furious guitar riffs, bouncing bass lines, and just like gravelly screaming vocals, which are at times like they're rapped, so it's almost, there's I suppose a hint of new metal in there as well, with that sort of rapped vocal delivery, but it's much heavier than most new metal ever was, and better than most new metal ever was too. But from start to finish, you're just kind of pummeled. And the song I was talking about before that I'd kind of come across on the music videos is a song called RL Pulse, which is just an absolute, well, it's a banger. It's just this driving song, and the video, it's got a cool video. It's like sort of like a video game. It's almost a bit like Halo, and there's these like soldiers like storming an evil villain's base to like try and rescue their comrade, and at the end they fight the villain, and he does that old, if you remember in Indiana Jones, with the guy with the sword, he like shows off all his sword moves, and then Indiana Jones just blasts him with his pistol. A similar thing where this guy shows off all his mad moves, and then the guy's just like blown to pieces with their machine guns. So it's kind of memorable for that reason as well. But like that guy's, I've said here, he's a sort of cross between Skeletor and a member of the Legion of Doom, if you remember those guys, those wrestlers. So like I've said, it's just heavy hardcore punk with electronics, and I mean the crazy drum beats are kind of one of the coolest things on it. But I mean, there's drum and bass and stuff like that in there as well, and at times it's a pretty unforgiving listen. The vocals sound like they're sort of delivered through a tornado of broken glass at times. There's a sort of like radio static kind of sound about them, but there's still a lot of melody, and because there's that sort of bounce and pace, it's just a really sort of sonically pleasing sound, despite the harshness. It's mostly in Japanese. There's the odd kind of English vocals, but I really don't know what they're going on about most of the time. There's a point on the album, a song called Island, where it turns into an almost pop punk sound, this sort of really breezy kind of guitar riff, but it's still got these like radio static vocals, but it's got that breezy guitar lick and a sort of jaunty bass line, and it's just like this kind of cool desert island sort of vibe going on, and then it kind of kicks back into the intensity There's another song, Good Girl, that has that kind of radio ready appeal as well, but for the most part it's just pummeling. But I just love this album, and I think it's the sound, the guitar tones and the sound of the vocals and the style of the vocals that I find really appealing, and just I can't get enough of it.
It's a band that I've been aware of for many years, but I've never really looked into, to be honest, and maybe I should.
But this is the only album I've listened to, and you know, I didn't know they didn't really bother to. I don't really know why. I just never really bothered to go to look into any of their other music.
Yeah. Because for me, I suppose, in many ways, kind of growing up, I'm watching like Zakrang and P-Rock and stuff. Certainly the kind of early 2000s, there was this kind of explosion of American punk rock, and this was a band that was always kind of on the peripheries of that, I would have said, but it's one that I just never got round to listening to, but maybe I will have to sit down and listen to it sometime.
Yeah, I'd say it's maybe a bit of a tough listen, but it's one of those albums that once you, I mean, in the way that Death from Above, they're quite a tough band to listen to, but once they get their claws into you, you can end up really loving them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was OSC-DIS by the Mad Capsule Markets.